ready to go live. And bang! Live. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, guys.
I was just explaining to Daniel that I've got a fan positioned in my room. As you can see, I'm not in the office today. I've teleported to my residence. So I've got a fan pointing in my room because it's like 4 million degrees in here. So if you can hear that getting picked up, let us know and I'll try and reposition it so you're not listening to like the wind tunnel sounds.
I can't hear it at all.
Okay. We'll see. Sometimes the audio comes through fine on the Zoom thing and then not so much on the stream. So we'll see what people think. We've got Charlotte and Sue are in the chat now. So hi guys. There's a few more watching. I just don't know who because I can't see. So yeah, hopefully you guys are all right and doing well and stuff. How are you, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. My legs are a bit sore. Did a bit of hiking yesterday, so
yeah, strong.
I took it out of me today. Felt like my body had been put through a blender when I woke up, but I started gradually to pull myself around. So
did you have some like trail mix and stuff and like set up a little campfire and that?
Had the old classic, which is like dried mango.
Yes.
Sandwiches and
a dried mango sandwich.
A dried mango sandwich.
Oh, okay. As the staple of all hiking diets is a dried mango sandwich.
I think dried mango, yeah, because I did that obviously when we were in Yorkshire, and
yeah,
it was the best thing ever, dried mango.
Yeah,
and we had those like brioche buns as well, which was so good. So I like to eat like kind of sugary stuff like that, I think. But
like I say, trail mix like raisins and peanuts and
yeah,
stuff like that tends to help on a good old hike.
Pretty good.
So yeah, I'm great. Daniel's doing well, I think. Apparently you're a bit quiet, Daniel. So let's.
Okay. I can put my mic closer to me.
No, it's me. It's me. Don't worry.
Okay.
Try that. I wonder if that's what you'd be too loud now. Be like, I've been for a hike. Right. Yeah. Let us know how that is.
Yeah. Just is that better, guys?
Probably better. Now you'd be too loud now. It's all right.
Too loud now, probably. It's all good.
So yeah, we've been busy. Hopefully you guys have been up to something and up to something good.
Yeah,
that's better. Okay, cool.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so just a quick few updates before we get started, really. The Staying Connected streams are going to be on Monday, Wednesday and Friday as normal, 4 to 5. The other stuff, we haven't got many streams happening other than that, but we still do have courses being delivered digitally. I know a few of you guys have been involved on them, but if you are interested at all, if you check out the schedule, will be going out on Facebook either this afternoon or tomorrow morning. I think Ella's working on that now, so it'll go up and it'll have what we've got going on. The other thing to check is, or the other thing to do is, if I know Anthony had mentioned it when he was on Monday about like the After Effects courses and stuff. If there's any courses you would like us to have a think about delivering, if we can get enough interest from people, so if enough people ask for a course, we could put it on basically. So that on the survey in the other bit, I'd like to do a course on hiking, and then Daniel can show you how to walk up and down hills and stuff. It'll be good.
There's also like if we're doing it for like a kind of free alternative, it's something we can look into, and it would take a bit of research. But that what I edited the videos on Hit Film Express, like a massive part of their whole thing is like VFX. That's really what it's primarily good for. So we may be able to do some of the After Effects tutorials in that, I'd imagine. Like I said,
like generating like different colors and lighting and all that kind of thing. Can do in there. Yeah.
All that you can do in that program. So I think that's something we could like look at, obviously.
So he's been cutting the grass, so there you go. Keep him busy.
My hay fever would just be exploding if I was around that.
Definitely.
Be dying.
It's already bad enough as it is. I'm sitting indoors.
When I was at my dad's, and like my bedroom was like on the ground floor next to where the like grass was. Obviously, when you mow the grass, I would just die. I just like couldn't be in the room.
I'm a bit sick of being allergic to the air. Like it gets old quick. Gets old real quick. On that note of not cutting the grass, on the note of having other stuff going on, we do have, and I know a few of you guys have watched it. I'm gonna just get the link to it now. So Mel did the first in what's going to be a series of craft videos.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So we've created a playlist for it. At the minute, it's got one video in it. But basically, Mel is going to look to record a bunch more of those. So that might be something, you know, hobby-wise that you can get cracking with. She's trying to do it like very cheap and in terms of materials, so that it's accessible.
Brilliant.
I think she's trying to keep it as basic as possible, so that everyone can sort of have a go as well, which is great. So keep an eye on that one. There'll be more and more going up there, and that one was for St. Benedict Sunflower Day, which we talked about last week, I think, Daniel. Possibly
we
on
did,
Wednesday, if I remember right.
Yeah, we did obviously get a few things for that, didn't we?
Yeah, so we did a bunch of content, but if anyone checked any of that out, thank you. Obviously, we appreciate it. We have a sort of long-standing partnership with St. Benedict's Hospice. We've had Anthon as well, who's like their main sort of fundraising lead as well, and he's done a bunch of stuff with us before. We are due to do Tough Mudder as well, even though it's been cancelled. I think we're still on the hook for that one, Daniel.
Yeah, right. It's cool, man. No worries.
We've got
prepared for that.
Yeah. You're gonna have to get the training in the hot weather, I think.
Get into shape. It's a good incentive to get
that Insanity DVD back in the player, I think, is what it's gonna be.
It's gonna have to be the correct league.
So yeah, that's the short updates from us, really. Unless you've got anything else in there, Daniel. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just fattest I've ever been at the moment, probably. I think so. Sounds good news.
Right, okay. I mean, it's been cancelled, to be fair, so you've had a bit of a reprieve. Like you've got a couple of, I'd imagine at least 6 to 8 months. No, I think longer than that. I can't see many events like that going ahead in the near future. Like, I mean, they haven't even I know they're planning to open up like the pubs and stuff next week on the 4th. No, it's the 4th, isn't it? It's not quite. Is it next week?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it is the 4th. I think you're right, the 4th.
Yeah, it is next Saturday.
I just saw someone say the 4th, but
next Saturday. But the gyms and stuff are still closed, and like most guides for sports,
restaurants, and
So you'll not be falling through the mud yet. So don't worry about that.
Yeah. I think that's a tough one, man. Like with something like a cinema or something like that, I can't see that opening for like a long time just because of how close.
It's gonna have to be what they're doing, like even in like the football where they have one seat and then like 2 missing, and then 1 seat and then 2 missing. So yeah, I can't see it being easy for them opening back up. I think they'll have a bit of a tough time.
Yeah, I know. So for IT, Sue, we have digital skills for beginners, which we've got a few virtual sessions which we could link you to.
Yeah.
And we'll have some probably upcoming, I'd imagine.
I can shoot you across soon an enrollment form for that digital skills for beginners course that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. It's been recorded live. But I don't mind if you watch it and want to have a chat about it. I can probably do like a one-to-one phone call or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the minute, I know Lisa's got you enrolled on, I think it might be the LA6 one. I'll double check with her what course that you're enrolled on, but there is other stuff that we're delivering. But I don't mind chasing that up and getting back to you on that one either.
Because
like I say, we have a bunch of stuff going on. It's just it's not a lot of it now. Some of it now, sorry, is where the courses where you have to enroll onto them. But Ella's putting out the weekly schedule. I think, like I say, either tonight, like this afternoon, or tomorrow morning it'll be out, and that'll be on Facebook. And then just give one of us a shout, even if it's just by email. If you want to just email one of us and say what's happening, that's fine. We can have a chat with you about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Lynn's saying that Northern Rights are helping her with the IT as well, and that they've helped her find jobs.
That's good
as well. So that's good. There's another avenue you could possibly look at and all.
Yeah, for sure. Anything that helps, really. You know what I mean. We'll always do our best to help you, but if you know.
Cool.
So yeah.
So yeah, I'll if you can drop me an email, I will follow that up with Lisa. If you don't mind, I will get some information to you and check what you're enrolled on and what we've currently got available as well. Cool. So if I quickly, that's all the updates from us. So yeah, last bit was just thanks to if anyone checked out that St. Benedict Sunflower Day. If not, their Facebook page has got a bunch of stuff They had a bunch of yoga classes and stuff on there,
Wow.
and loads of different activities that you can get involved with, or the kids can get involved with, and stuff like that. So that's good. Good to check out.
Yeah, I mean, we keeps slipping past me, but we're going to put up some of Rob's fitness videos as well. They're going to be going on the YouTube.
Yeah, there's a few on there at the minute, to be fair.
Yeah, we do have a few on there. But there's ones which are really accessible, like the stretching one, which I'm not sure is on there, which anybody could do.
Yeah,
and also the
chair
yeah. So
we'll get them
chair-based fitness as well.
We'll get them out for the end of next week, hopefully. In fact, the start. We should be able to get them out at the start.
No, should be this year, yeah.
So quickly have a little glance at some of the good news stuff that we pulled together this week. So first one is the 2 hairstylists with coronavirus who wore masks.
Yeah, so it seems like obviously.
So did their 140 clients. Of those tested, none got sick. So the two, from reading it, it's the 2 stylists who've tested positive, isn't it? And then all of the customers that they've served in the salon who were all wearing masks, none of them had any reported cases, like any confirmed cases.
So basically, it just goes to show, guys. Like, obviously, if you're out in public and there's like, it's a wide area with lots of space, then that might not be the most essential for you to wear a mask. But if you are on public transport or anything like that, then they do help. It shows that a mask, 2 people wearing a mask, the transmission rate is obviously really, really low. And yeah, a lot of people try to politicize it, like, oh, it's less so in England. I think we're much more kind of minded about that. But I think people try to politicize people using masks, and really the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
There's so much research that came out there about how effective they can be, and all of the countries that responded with masks with coronavirus are countries that generally had a much lower transmission rate, which there's been so much research that came out recently about it. So yeah, obviously I'm not saying if you go into the park and you're out in public and you're miles away from everybody else, then you probably don't need to wear a mask. But if you are in an enclosed area, then I would definitely say that it probably will help. And
definitely.
Even more so if it's 2 people wearing a mask, if it's just one person and the other person isn't.
So that's the point, isn't it? So who was this quote from? Dr. Claudia Hoyen, Director of Pediatric Infection Control at the University Hospitals and Rainbow Babies Children's Hospital. So they've talked to an actual doctor who's quoted as saying the result appears to be one of the clearest real world examples of the ability of masks to slow the spread of the novel coronavirus. What the hell? Types of face cream. Yeah, so basically that's one of the precautions they put in place, and this is a real world example of how it's helped stop the spread, because they're 2 confirmed cases that have been in a close proximity for what you would imagine was 20 minutes or more, which I think is like the peak infection time, and none of them have received it. So a little bit of scientific evidence there for everyone who was doubting having a mask on and stuff.
So it shows,
I sort of touches on the point about the pubs and stuff reopening. Like, I know a lot of people have said, well, probably not going to go, to be honest, when it first opened. Because a lot of the advice from the likes of Sage and stuff has been it's not proven, but it could improve the transmit rate by up to 10 times if you within a meter rather than 2. So all I would say was, with everything opening back up, I think I'm still going to be avoiding unnecessary contact, I think.
So
but yeah, it's a step in the right direction to see that the masks are working. I seen in America specifically, they were saying it was against the constitutional rights and stuff, and then there was a bunch of other stuff where basically the World Health Organization had lied, so quote unquote. I see a lot they've been accused of, let's get that straight, lying, because they didn't want to cause a panic that would stop people from getting the masks. I don't know if you saw that one. So there's quite a bit of debate as to whether the WHO have lied. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well. I think there's going to be a lot of that stuff coming out in the next 6 to 8 months. I think a lot of people are going to be getting a letter through the door asking them to appear in court or at a hearing or something to that effect.
Yeah, I hear a lot like that's like a you know kind of like a talking point that I've heard a few Americans say. It's like, oh, they told us to wear masks and then they did it and now they're telling us
Yeah,
again, and it's
it's
like
the
it's
I can't
just like
remember the chief medical officer over there. I can't remember his name.
Fauci, Anthony
Yeah,
Fauci,
yeah, yeah. So apparently he was the one who is complicit in the whole thing, and he basically said,
right?
"Don't wear a mask," and then 3 weeks later started saying, wear a mask, and I asked him why, and it came to light that basically there wasn't enough supply, so he didn't want to cause like a massive bottleneck in that and a panic.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we've got a few of the guys just dropping in. So Charlotte just said she ordered a few masks that came yesterday. So hopefully you'll be out and
Good
about
stuff,
again
man.
then with them on. Lynn was nominating Novak Djokovic for Idiot of the Week. Yeah, I haven't actually put a link to that, but I did see it on Twitter yesterday, so we can probably have a little quick look at that in a bit. All that money he's got and no bleeding common sense. Fortunately for him, he's young and fit, so he won't be affected too bad. Yeah, I think a lot of like it's the same with like the basketballers and stuff. Like they're all tested positive, but because they're such like in peak physical condition, they've managed to exist in a bubble while they had it, so they didn't really pass it on to anyone, which is the only, well, not the only positive because obviously he tested positive, but it's a positive. Stupid, yeah, it is. It's easy to transmit, and I think that proves it as well. If people can get it and not even be affected by it, like it's even more worrying. Because then they're just carrying it. His dodgy nightclub dancing was even more alarming, apparently. Talking about America, did anyone see the Trump rally? I only watched the highlight and what he said about the yeah, I did. Again, I didn't. I seen it, but I thought let's not, because I haven't got all year to go into why that was stupid. Did you see it, Daniel? Did you see
the Tulsa rally?
Yeah. So first of all, he drank the water because he got accused of being frail and he couldn't drink water.
He threw the cup.
And then he just launched a glass like off the stage.
And people cheered.
Yeah, like I thought that was added. Like I thought someone had edited it and added like the cheering chat on the end, like it was like some kind of propaganda. But I've seen it from multiple angles. It's the same audio. Like they were genuinely buzzing that he drank from a cup of water, and I was like,
"You see that only 6,000 people turned up out of like a registered 1 million."
Yeah, apparently loads of people on TikTok ran some like weird campaign to like register interest.
But like K-pop. Like K-pop fans and stuff, wasn't it?
Like, but apparently, like he's been bragging that up to 1 million people requested seats, but it turns out that like a massive portion of them are people that were just like trolling his campaign, which is mad.
And then it was like only 6,000 people turned up in. Like he apparently like. He didn't really like let on at the rally, but there was so many pictures. I don't know if you saw the pictures of him after the rally when he had like his scarf up and his
tie was like round his neck and his face was all like red. He just looked knackered. Like he looked, to be fair to him, he looked exhausted.
Yeah.
But yeah, I seen that, and then I seen him explaining how he walked down the ramp. It's a very steep ramp. It was very steep. I had to hold on to him. The gentleman, I'm so frail, and like he was like trying to make a joke of it, but like. His ego is that fragile that these comments are like genuinely hurting him, saying that he can't walk down the ramp. It's crazy. Like he's starting to lose the plot. I think, like I say, he looks exhausted. Totally. He looks knackered.
He does. Yeah, he's not going to win. There's no chance.
We'll see. I've got no faith in Sleepy Joe. I've got no faith in him, man.
But
I seen a video of Joe Biden today, and he was trying to explain a number. And he was like 700 million billion, 7 billion, 100 million, and he said it about 8 times. He still didn't get it right, and then he just moved on. And I was like, oh,
there's so many cringe. He always forgets people's names and stuff. Like he's always like, oh yeah, that's a good one, Jack. And it's like, oh, my name's Steve, and he's like, oh, Steve, yeah, I mean Steve. And it's just like so cringe. It's like, oh god.
Again, like I can't really criticize him too much because the political situation in this country not so great either.
True that.
But yeah, I did oh god, Trump, man. The rally it was funny. It was funny. It was a bit more lighthearted than the rest of the Trump news. So
for sure, yeah, definitely.
Thing is though, what I was thinking, if they properly like enforced social distancing and meant that every other seat had to be empty, it would have looked like it was full. So they did themselves an injustice by trying to let everyone in. They should have just had a limited capacity, and it would have looked like it was rammed. Screwed themselves over.
I know.
was reading about Tulsa. That town is actually separated by a river. Blacks on one side, whites on the other. Is that I don't know if that's true, but if it is, that's quite concerning.
Sounds pretty crazy. That I'm not quite sure.
Check that one out.
Yeah,
but we'll move on to something. We'll try and keep it on the good side. But yeah, I'll definitely check that out, Lynn. I haven't heard that one before, but I'll look into that.
Let's bring the positive vibes back.
So
I don't know much about Oklahoma.
No, same. I mean, American geography, to be honest, is terrible. I don't know where anything is apart from New York and LA. Outside of that, I'm like, yeah, in the middle,
same,
sort of in the middle. So this one's from, I believe, Canada. Yeah, so Ontario new math curriculum to introduce coding, personal finance, starting in grade 1, which I don't actually know what is grade 1.
Yes. I was looking at that there as if it was like a foreign thing, and then I was thinking like, oh, I sent you that link. I was like, oh yeah. So basically, I just thought it was really cool. Yeah, it's just a school.
So it'll be like 6 years
Canada,
old.
right? So Ontario, Canada.
Yeah.
Grade 1. Yeah, it's just year 1, right? It's just the same as our year 1.
I think it's year 2. So. I think it's equivalent to year 2.
Okay, so it's year 2. Yeah, UK year 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, I just thought it was really cool because it was that they're going to introduce coding, and also personal finance.
Yeah,
and I think that both of those are really kind of important, obviously, because I think that it's just something that it's just keeping up with the times, really. So.
The thing with coding is it's like they're all languages, and the younger you learn a language, the better you pick it up. So it's basically you're learning a big phrase book of how to tell a computer to do things.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah,
and if you can learn that at between 6 and 11, I think it's like your peak time to learn a language or whatever, then you kind of go wrong. I think the personal finance one's massively important as well.
Oh my god, and personal finance in particular, right? Like that's like such a key life skill. Yeah. And you're not taught really all of it. You're told in maths that this is going to apply to your personal finance when you're younger, but you're not taught like practically, to actually have that kind of practical like application of personal finance into the curriculum. I think that's just going to be like massively transformative.
It's one thing like it's a massive criticism I lodge at our educational system. Like we sort of learned to code a little bit, a tiny bit.
I never learned anything.
It was like it was an elective like in my GCSEs as part of taking IT.
Okay.
I chose to do an add-on that was like to do with websites and video editing and stuff, but there was no like personal finance or like self-employment advice or how the tax system works or obtaining a loan, your credit, and like there was that at 16-year-old you haven't got a clue. And even in college, like once you hit 18 in college, no one's teaching you this stuff.
But yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you go into uni at like 18.
And they just give you money. They just give you money
and then
for
all
3
these
months.
Banks and stuff. Like, do you want to get it like a student overdraft? We'll give you £2,000. You don't have to pay it up for 3 years. It's like what? It's like okay, I take all this money from you. It's like, but no one tells you like that. No, you need to like manage this, and like you need to be able to kind of learn how you're going to deal with this.
And I know it's a learning curve, right? And like you support, that's the whole point. But like, I just think it's mad. It's crazy to think that they'll churn you out of college at like 18 in the what, like the April or maybe it's the July, very latest, and then in September you're at uni, you're potentially living away from home on your own, and they give you enough money that would last you 3 months, but they give you it all in one go and say off you go. Like what?
I don't remember getting told about tax or anything like that. No one tells you about how the tax system works unless you take economics at like A level or something,
But even you'd have to be like even when you take a business A level. By the way, I got an E in my business A level, so that maybe don't listen to me. What do I know? I didn't really pay attention, but you're not learning about like systems like that. You're learning about like business structure. You're not learning about like payments and payment methods and tax calculations and stuff like that. It's a really specialist subject in terms of the way it's taught, and I don't know. I just think it's crazy. Like, there's no wonder why a lot of people my age are in debt. Like,
definitely, mate,
I know loads of people who've just took out and maxed out credit cards and then had to turn around and say, I haven't got any money. Like,
because they just didn't know. And it's like when you're in uni or when you're just coming out of school, no one knows really properly about that. Like they don't, but you're just allowed. You're an adult at that point, so whatever you do with your finances is your choice. But it's like
I think like
it's so crazy.
The week before we left school, the most they did was like they put us all in a room and were like, right, you need to make a CV, and we spent like an hour and a half making a CV from templates on Microsoft Word, and then they were like, right, draw. I said, oh, champion.
So crazy, dude. And I mean that's why as well, like a lot of schools in other countries, like all across the world, they finish school at 18. And I think that the fact that we finish at 16, it's good because there is that personal freedom for you to do what you want. But at the same time, I feel like you're fresh out the gate. And when you're 16, I was so immature. I didn't know anything about anything when I was 16. So the fact that you're, considered to be like able to kind of look after yourself at that point, an adult, like for me, I'm not too sure.
Especially like I say, like you could conceivably leave college at 18 and then in a matter of 4 months be given like $1,500 maintenance grant that's got to last you a full term. That for a fact in the majority of cases it's been spent within 2 weeks. It's gone, because it's money that you've never had before. You've never had that level of like income before. Like even if you work a part-time job, that amount of money doesn't drop into your account at once. And it's just I'm just going to spend it all on drinking like pot noodles and Doritos and that.
When I got my student loan, it wasn't embedded in me at all. Obviously, it's my fault in a way, but it's like, just at that time when I got my student loan, there was no part of me that thought, like, this is like a loan. Like, I just felt like,
it's my money.
This is free money. It's just
The
free
government's just giving me free money into my account, and I'm gonna buy a laptop. Like, okay, cool. Where are you gonna buy? How are you gonna eat for the rest of the month? Dinner. That's not my problem. Yeah. That's the good. That's insane, man. Like you say, it's immaturity, man. Like I think back to all the money I wasted in that first 6 months of uni, and I'm like, what were you doing? Like,
bro. I know.
Thing is, I was working part time as well, so I don't even know where it all went. Like,
bro, yeah, same.
Where did it go?
Is, though? Like, not to like go like totally go off topic, but I think that what you said about coding was a really interesting perspective, because I feel like people just look at it as like, oh, kind of maths and technical stuff. But there was this I was following this YouTuber called Michael Reeves, and he said that he failed everything in school. He said that he said his maths wasn't good in school. He failed all kinds of like languages. He tried to do stuff. He wasn't like a good student at all. And he says that he just kind of basically just knuckled down, and he got to a point where he was like, I need to be good at something, like I need something to be good at. And he said he literally just nerded out and just learned coding, and he says he just like literally went over and over again. And he says he's like not naturally gifted at maths at all, and he says he just learned it, and then now he makes like amazing kind of videos. He totally like understands coding, and his videos are really funny. Like he makes like
what's his name?
Like these Michael Reeves. He makes like these kind of weird robots that like electrocute people or electrocute him and stuff. And he makes these really funny kind of robots with these YouTube videos. He's got a really funny personality. But yeah, and he said that he's not like, like naturally like a super smart guy. He just totally like knuckled down and learned the language, like you said. So.
The thing with that his is probably a little bit more technical, because he's programming things to actually move. But the term coding doesn't necessarily mean that. Like there's so many coding languages, it's untrue. A lot of some of them are web based, some of them are program based. So you'll have heard of things like Java. Which isn't actually coffee, but it's based. That's what it's named after. There's things like HTML, CSS. Some of them are web based. But if anyone's interested in that sort of stuff, I can advise. If anyone's interested in learning any of that sort of thing, I'm not, to be honest, not fluent in a lot of them. But I know of people who are, and I know what tools they use as well. So it's never too late to look at it, and if it's not for you, it's not for you. If you fancy having a go at things like web development and stuff as well, or looking at websites, I know Charlotte, you've mentioned in the past, sort of looking at them, even if it's something as basic as blogging, it's stuff that we can look at, and you wouldn't have to, for something like that, you wouldn't have to know any coding either. Really, you can do it all through like sort of similar to how you post on Facebook, but it just goes straight to your website rather than like a Facebook page. So I can definitely start if we get enough interest generated on stuff like blogging. Ella's really good at knowing the tips and tricks to get like a really good blog as well, and website. She's pretty good with the SEO stuff, like the way people find it, the way people find your website. She's pretty good with that. We're pretty clued up on that. So if anyone's interested in that sort of stuff, it would be great to get that feedback. And we'll look to put something together.
Yeah, for sure. And also, if people are interested in coding as well, I remember that as part of the digital skills stuff that we were looking at, there's the digital toolkit, the government digital skills toolkit, I think it's called, and they have a coding thing on there under the advanced section.
Is that under the career service?
That one? Yeah, it's the government one. It's the government one, and they have a whole coding program there. So if you are interested in that, guys, there's the digital skills toolkit.
Learn to code for data analysis. Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah. And then that's
so that's provided by the Open University as well. That one, which is like a recognized training provider. Like I think you probably get an accreditation with that. So no, that's cool. So anyway, coding, real good if you can get into it. But like I say, you can do stuff on the web without even coding these days. It's pretty open source. So just catch up with the guys quickly. On about Billy Connolly being a politician. I would like to see that, but I think he's a bit too sweary. Might have torn himself down a little bit. Just the guys agreeing, saying, life skills classes at school would be amazing. Education system in the UK needs to change. Most of the stuff you get educated on, particularly senior schools, is not very helpful in the real world. Applying for jobs, taxes, money, finances, politics, etc. I think they should do like a practical maths GCSE as an option, with budgeting and credit cards and interest, etc. Yeah, exactly. I agree.
That's really good.
Sue's saying she got a GCSE in maths and commerce, but no reflection on how to live well from 16. That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. Like I feel like they teach you some skills that are relevant, like percentages and that sort of thing, but it's not. It's not made practical enough in terms of like you can't relate it to your life.
Like there should just be like a key
life skills class,
like a life skills class, like just like a key skills core class, and it could be once a week or even a couple times a month. And
it doesn't have to push like the curriculum completely off. Like it just have it in there somewhere. It doesn't have to be a whole thing, like a whole block.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're trying to do. Mel's been trying to do not trying to do. She's been doing a really good job with the health eating ones as well, and that's another example of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna look like we got like that's the thing. We got. I remember I did home ec, right? I think it was in like maybe year 9 or year 10. No, year 8 and year 9. We did home ec, and it was like you made like Mars bar slice and like stuff like that, and it was like fair enough. That's like it's fun and it's teaching you the basics, but I think that you should have like practical things like we're going to teach you how to make these kind of basic meals that you probably if you're like a student,
meal prep and stuff.
Meal prep and kind of like basics of kind of how to like survive like and cook for yourself and budget eating, things like that. It's like that's all stuff that's essential. And I mean, making Mars bar slices not really, but
just have Mars bar slice for every meal, like a pot noodle, like
and Rice Krispie cake as well.
But just bags of crisps all the time, just like 100 bags of Frazzles. Don't do that because Mel stops. Mel will be screaming if she could hear this.
Frazzles and chipsticks as well.
Dan says show the 2-pack. I know, but I don't have it. I don't just have that on hand. You'll have to send us it, Dan. I can't remember what to search to find. I know what he means. I know what he means. I can't remember.
When Tupac's like 17 or something, he's being interviewed and he's saying that he's like saying that there should be a class on this. That's actually really good.
I know the exact clip, but I don't know what it's called. I don't know what to search to find it, so you'll have to send us it.
That's a really good Tupac.
But I think Tupac's probably put it a little bit more eloquently than I did. But I've always found it a bit mad. Like I sort of once I got set up, I was just like I don't really know what I'm doing. Like I'm in a job and I don't know how anything works.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've been using is it Money Saving Expert? Is that the website? I'm gonna have to quickly look that up. There's a bunch of free advice on this. Martin Lewis, that's the guy. Martin Lewis's website. I'll put the link in the chat. There's a load of stuff on there. In terms of like deals and stuff and advice and information on loads of different things like loans and Loads of different deals that are coming up, and cards, like if you've got credit cards or if you've got debt or if you're considering taking out a loan and stuff like that. It's really been really useful for me in the past 6 months.
That's cool, man.
What grants are available and things like that. So there's banks and saving, making a complaint, household bills, travel, insurance, deals, and all that kind of thing. So that's moneysavingexpert.com. It's been really helpful. I think actually Captain Chaos, our Leon, might have put us onto that one, if I remember right. Can media savvy help with the life skills course? I mean, we can try. I might not be the one teaching it, like. I haven't got many of them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, exactly. I still don't think that I'm an expert in managing my own life yet.
No, I'm not. I haven't quite got the full on grasp of my own life yet, but I'm sure someone does. I'm sure between we can have a normal functioning life.
That's it. Yeah.
But check that one out. So yeah. Anyway, that was a massive digression.
Dan tried to link the clip, but it hadn't came up. He said from 10 seconds. Oh, there we go. So from 10 seconds in. He said.
There we go. Let's have a quick. Oh no, I've clicked on it in the. Oh, what an idiot!
What did you do?
I've done an oops. Hang on. I will
undo that. Oh, you're both fired.
See, I've got no life skills. This is the problem. Hopefully the stream's still up. Like. Oh, come on, man. Do you know what it is? I was gonna say it's Friday, but it's not. It's Wednesday.
It feels like a Friday.
It's because the sun's out. I'm sweating. Like, it's absolutely roasted.
It's so hot, man.
Sure, or you're both fired. Is that a promise, or like is that just a threat? I feel like you shouldn't play this game of Chicken Dan. Not today. Also, like it's in my hands whether Daniel gets fired now because I could just not show it.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Last time I tried to play a video, it blew my computer up, so I hope you're proud of yourself.
I think you've got better internet though yours than obviously in the office. You might be alright.
But school is really important.
Right, it says it's playing, but it's not right. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna lose me rag in a minute. Right. Come on, Tupac. I know you want to get this out. I know you want to get the message out there. Please.
And that's why the street
17 years old as well, which is pretty crazy.
But school is really important, reading, writing, arithmetic. But I think after you learn reading, writing, and arithmetic, that's it. But what they tend to do is teach you reading, writing, and arithmetic, then teach you reading and writing and arithmetic again, then again, just making it harder and harder, just to keep you busy. And that's where I think they messed up. There should be a class on drugs. It should be a class on sex education, a real sex education class, not just pictures and diaphragms and unlogical terms and things like that. There should be a drug class. There should be sex education. There should be a class on scams. There should be a class on religious cults. There should be a class on police brutality. There should be a class on apartheid. There should be a class on racism in America. There should be a class on why people are hungry, but they're not. Their class is on gym. You know, physical education. Let's learn volleyball because one day we're gonna, you know, it's their classes like algebra, where I've yet to go to a store and said, can I have X, Y plus 2 and give me my Y change back, thank you. And reading has helped me. I mean, school has taught me reading, which is I love reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's it. Like foreign languages, I think they're important, but I don't think it should be required. Because actually they should be teaching you English and then teaching you how to understand double talk, politicians double talk, not teaching you how to understand. Just saying that, I mean, ancient civilizations have survived without going to schools like this. I mean, they've learned from their parents. We're not being taught to deal with the world as it is. We're being taught to deal with this fairyland, which we're not even living in anymore. And it's sad, because I'm telling you, and it should not be me telling you. It should be common knowledge. Aren't they wondering why death rates are going up and suicide is going up and drug abuse? Aren't they wondering? Don't they understand that more people are, I mean, more kids are being handed crack than they're being handed diplomas? I mean, it shouldn't, I mean, like, okay, in school.
hang on.
Good,
I try to pause it to say that'll do, and then I press pause and it just sort of crashed. It really doesn't like playing YouTube clips. I don't know when I'm streaming. I don't know what it is. I think it's like it doesn't like YouTube being put on YouTube.
That was 1989.
I know, 17-year-old man.
17 years old, and it's great to see that kind of insight, and especially it's particularly relevant with some of the stuff that's going on today, right? When you're talking about police brutality and racism in America, and like unbelievable, that you had that kind of insight to commentate on those kind of things and to be able to see that kind of stuff back then even. So
yeah,
it's
the goat, man. The goat.
It's nice, man. Yeah, it's great.
Good lad, Tupac. Good boy.
Yeah, he's a legend.
So yeah, that was pretty much a concise way of what we rambled on about for 20 minutes. We managed to put that into 2.5 minutes, which was canny.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip over a few of them because I've got some other stuff, but I found this one. We sort of covered it a couple of weeks ago, so but we covered it in relation to anxiety and stress.
Okay.
It's on the Good News Network again, so it's the same website, but it's basically an article explaining that taking up a hobby can prevent or reduce symptoms of depression by up to a third.
Yes, I think that we'd looked briefly for like a minute at this on Monday, but for 1 second. Cool. So we didn't really delve into it too much, and I definitely think it's worth looking at.
Yeah, so it was the reason I picked it out is because the period they examined was quite a long one, so it was 2004 to 2017, which is like 13 years.
A long time.
So having a hobby reduced the risk of developing depression by about 30%. So not even managing like an existing bout of depression, like preventing it from occurring, which I thought was really interesting. And these effects were obviously observed in both men and women. And consistent in people who have depressive symptoms before the study period began, and who develop it after. So it had a range of people who were already suffering from depression and people who've had the symptoms but not been fully diagnosed as well. Researchers found that if people who didn't have depression or a hobby were to take up a hobby, they would then be conferred 32% lower odds of developing depressive symptoms.
Every time we do the Monday interviews with the learners, that's something that I think's been a current theme throughout it. And I mean, it's especially relevant obviously because of us being in lockdown and actually not being able to go outside. It's just the importance of a hobby, and it's something that I always felt quite strongly about. And if you don't have a particular hobby, go out and you find one, and you'll end up falling in love with something. And no matter what it is, if it's like sports, movies, video games, no matter what it is.
Crafts, crafts, a lot of people have talked about like sewing and I was going to say stitching. I meant knitting. You can tell, as you can tell, I'm a craft master and I do them all the time. Just constantly like in my workshop, like knitting, crocheting. And is that not what you do with the big like mallet where you hit the ball through like a little square?
Yeah, sure. I don't actually know.
But hobbies and that, man. Walking can be a hobby if you do it for long enough in nice enough place.
Anything can be a hobby. You know what I mean?
Just start working out. That's a hobby.
That's
Start juggling. As you can probably see, I don't know if you can see over my shoulder. Hang on. Over this shoulder, over there's a box there, and that's got a keyboard in it. And I'm trying to teach myself to play that with very, very low success rate at the minute. I'll say very low success rate. I haven't got the coordination in my hands at the minute. They lock up, and I press like all the keys at once because I've got like arthritic fingers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds. I love the sound of piano and stuff, but I'm just any hand-eye coordination stuff. It's a disaster for me.
I played. How did I learn the other day? It took us like an hour and a half to play it.
What's it called? Frau
No, it was a Christmas song. It was Deck the Halls. It took us an hour to get it right, and that's without the melody. So you play one side is the sound, like the actual tune, and then you play the melody with your left hand. And I tried to do the melody, and I got really stressed, and I put it back in the box, and I haven't opened it since. And that was 2 days ago.
I think
so
everyone's like favorite, not favorite, but like first guitar song is always like One Nation Army. Everyone always does that as like the first guitar song.
I think Wonderwall is quite an easy one to learn as well.
That's always up there as well.
Like cliche like guitar song to learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, so could be gardening. Shouldn't say the G word on stream. I've mentioned that before because Lisa Miller may be listening, and we don't want them stories to be starting. But yeah, in case anyone didn't know, this is a picture of someone in the garden. Thanks for that article, just so you know. But yeah, so it's been sort of had a bit more of an analytical study done, and it can be found to reduce those odds by up to 30%, which is it's really good and strong.
Yeah, brilliant, man.
Charlotte's saying she thinks a problem is that too many hobbies and interests and don't know which ones to do when the time. Yeah, I get a bit like that. Like I have so many options to do something, and then I think about it. I think I can't be bothered. But I think it helps if it's something you enjoy as well. Anthony says he started the guitar with the Bond theme, Daniel. So there you go. Didn't do Seven Nation Army.
I would advise for Charlotte that whenever you want to do something that day, I would set what you want to do, and then I would just stick to it. And even if you kind of think, well, I'd rather do this and I'd rather do that, once you start doing it, then you'll start to enjoy it, and then you'll be like, good, because it's just that it's like they always say the hardest thing is getting started, and it really is. So it's, for example, if you just say we'll use working out for example.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that.
Every single time that I ever gonna go to the gym, I'm always thinking in my mind, it's because it's like you're always having a constant battle with comfort. And I mean, even a hobby can be something you enjoy, but it can still be, not the most comfortable experience. So every time I want to work out, every single time, I'll always be like, I can't be asked to do this.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I do it, every time I feel 100 times better.
I have a mental argument with myself at least 3 times a week where I'm like, I'm just going to have tonight off. And then I have to have the little voice, no, you're not. Well, but you're not though. And I'm like, I am though. And it's that, no, I, but you are. You going?
Yeah.
You going though? You going though? Shouting at myself. It's when it starts coming out that's the problem. When I'm actually screaming at myself, I think that's when I might be worried. But yeah, I think it is. You've got to persevere out from there.
I'm gonna not got to do it.
No, do it. Do it now.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, persevere with it. And like I say, try and do something you enjoy, because you if it's something you don't like doing, you're not going to enjoy it. Although I did hear a good quote from I think it was Mike Tyson the other day, and he said you've got to do what you hate like it's something that you love, which I thought was really good.
Right.
And that's when he was talking about getting in shape for the to win the World Championships. The World Championships. What am I talking about? I'm reading the Novak Djokovic article. That's why. The world title. So he was on about how he got himself into as good a shape as he did, and he had to tell himself every day that I'm gonna love this workout, and I'm gonna love eating this meal that I don't want to eat, and that sort of thing.
That's and I mean I think another good Muhammad Ali one is like that. He says that when you want to be a champion, you have to everything you do, you have to do it like like a champion. So he says it's not just like. You said you want to eat food like a champion, you want to go to sleep like a champion, and it's like it's basically just promoting positive mindset overall.
And also, you've got to be so bad that you make medicine sick.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So hard that you make onions cry as well, and all that sort of stuff.
That's so unlike.
But never so proud of it that you put your name on it, because that's George Foreman, and nobody wants that grill. Not anymore.
Yeah, man.
So Lynn's is saying she tries to do a couple of constructive things a day, but sometimes hard to get motivated. Yeah, I think the other thing you've got to do is just give yourself a bit of a break as well. If you're not up to doing something, you genuinely can't be bothered because you're tired, you haven't had a good night's sleep, or you're not feeling great. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, because that's the other thing that you'll end up beating yourself up about it, and it's really not worth it.
And it's like what I said. There's always like. It's good to keep things incremental. So if you've got an essay to do, I think that literally if your goal is if you're having a hard time doing that, if your goal is to write one sentence and you think one sentence is not that much of a monumental task, and then you can do that. But also, likewise, as Haytham just said, if there's ever a time when you feel like you physically can't do something and then you don't do it, don't beat yourself up about it, because there's no point feeling bad about that, because you'll just think, okay, I'll get around to that. You just accept that you didn't do it that day, and then I'll do it tomorrow. And yeah, because if you feel bad about it, then you might be thinking, you know, I'm never going to do this, and then you might sack it off completely. So it's good to just kind of think, okay, yeah, and don't like kind of feel too bad, you know.
Yeah. Oh, definitely not. Like I say, don't beat yourself up about stuff like that. Like, it happens. I have that attitude with when it comes to like training quite a bit, like working out. Like if I miss a day, like that I was supposed to, you know, I have rest days, but if I was planning on training on that day and I don't get to train, that like it really bugs us to the point where like, I'm angry with myself that I haven't gone. But just try not to be that way. It's hard stuff. It's like I say, it's that mental like argument you have with yourself.
Definitely.
So yeah, Anthony, I haven't forgot, but I tell you what, time is ticking on, so I will actually show it now. I had downloaded it, but now I've lost it. So give me a second, mate. So Anthony sent us some of the work that he's been working on over the past, I assume, few weeks.
Brilliant.
So I've got a before and after. I'm just loading the pictures now because I had them open and then I lost them because I'm silly. Give me a moment. Turn that on. There we are.
Matthew's just popped into the chat there. That's okay, Matthew. It's good to see you, bud. I think.
What's that one?
Get round. I sent you an email earlier, Matthew, about something that we're doing at the moment with volunteer steering. You might not have seen it, obviously, if you're in an interview, but yeah, if you just have a look at that whenever you get a chance, and yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so Anthony sent us this pic. This was the picture before he'd edited it, and I think that's it after. So he's done like a sort of the office like window theme, sort of poking out into nature, like a double exposure. Is that what? Yes, that's what it's called. Double exposure.
Yeah.
Sort of look.
That's really nice, man.
Which is looking really cool.
It's cool, man.
I think he said he rushed the finish off, so he might have another go at quickly doing some finishing touches. Yeah, Matthew, mate, I am at home. I was just saying to the guys, I've teleported back at home. So yeah, that's me wall of like random garbage behind us, as you can see. And I was just pointing out the keyboard there that I never play because I'm terrible at it. So yeah, really good job with them. Hang on, I've put the camera back on. I've took the foot off. Yeah, so great job with that, Anthony. I don't know, had you been following along with the photo piece stuff to get the idea for that? You'll have to let us know, because I know Ella had done some stuff on the double exposure, and I know Lisa's done a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So you have to let us know how you created that. But
it's a really cool
good,
technique.
really good one. And I think
definitely,
if you do make any more changes to it, send it over, and we'll have a look at the updated version. Or if you do any more stuff,
absolutely.
I know you've been working on a bunch of different stuff. So feel free, and anyone else, feel free to send in any of your work. We're happy to see it. Happy to go through it.
Absolutely. Anytime anyone's got any work to send over, send it across.
So really quick, I promise there's 6 minutes till 5 o'clock. I really just want to talk. I don't want to talk about it, but I think I should. So there was some weird claims have been popping up on Facebook. I don't know if anyone's been following this. So the track and trace app, that is a massive garish, nightmarish scenario hellscape that we've talked about for weeks on end. There was a fake claim going around online that the app had been automatically downloaded onto your phone. So I thought it'd be worth just quickly addressing that, just to say basically it hasn't. This is from the charity Full Fact, which, if anyone doesn't know, Full Fact is a fact-checking organisation that researches claims made online and in the press and whatever, and highlights the findings from it. So I use this site quite a lot because they do site sources as well. So they say that if they find something out, they tell you where they found it out from as well. And you can go and do a bit more of your independent research and all, which I think in this day and age, in the absolute like minefield that like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and that is, I think it's really good to have these guys around.
For sure.
And they do all topics as well. It's not just like apps and technology. It's a lot of different stuff, and there's a few different things on like the statements that have been made in the press and things like that. But they do it in this sort of format. So they tell you what the claim was. So the NHS Track and Trace app is being automatically downloaded onto phones, and then they tell you the conclusion at the top as well, which is really handy. So this is incorrect.
That's good.
What has been added is an API which can help COVID-19 tracking apps function. The official tracking app is not available in the UK yet, outside of testing in the Isle of Wight. So by an API, they just mean a set of functions that someone can release an app and your phone will understand what it is. Because without that, no one could make an app for track and trace, because the phone wouldn't know how to use the Bluetooth to match to different devices. So they've seen a claim circulating on Facebook that the NHS COVID-19 track and trace app has been automatically downloaded onto people's Android phones under the name COVID-19 exposure notifications. It's incorrect claim. It's not been added. What has been added to both Android and Apple phones is the exposure notification API. It's not an app. It's an underlying technology developed by Apple and Google that allows the track and trace apps to be made by public health bodies to work across everything. So basically, they have a system that works on both sets of phones rather than having to have loads of different things for different.
Makes sense.
You know, there's so many different manufacturers of an Android phone, for example. Google make one, Huawei make one, Samsung make one, Nokia make one. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of technology at play. So they've brought out a centralized system that encompasses all of them, including Apple as well, which is really handy, basically. So if you see that circulating around on Facebook, don't worry about it. It's not true. You fully have to consent to the download and use of any such apps. I just thought that would be worth mention.
And I mean, no surprise at all that started on Facebook, that rumor. Like, the home of
fake news,
of misinformation.
Fake news. You are fake.
It
news.
Is literally, man. I would definitely.
But
guys, we've said it 100 times. But
interestingly enough, I haven't really got time to talk about it in depth. But they're going to introduce the option to turn off political adverts on Facebook now, which is a massive U-turn, because they basically said 2 or 3 months ago, when Twitter banned political adverts completely, Facebook turned around and said, "Oh no, we won't be doing that because we believe in free speech." So they've now given they're going to roll out the option to completely block them from your feed, which is really good. Quickly, Lynn, on that. Lynn's asking, Daniel, how did the government not check that the app wouldn't work with iPhones? Surely something even an idiot like me would ask. I mean, don't put yourself down for starters, Lynn, because I don't think you could have made as much of a mess that the government have of this app, because it's been an absolute disaster. I have got an article on why it's a disaster. I'm not going to go into it because I think I could talk about it for the rest of today because it's really annoyed us. The too long didn't read version of it, Daniel, I don't know how aware you are, how much of a nerd you are compared to what I am.
Sure.
Probably not as much. Is the Apple and Google, as you know, as we've sort of told the guys, brought out the system that would work centrally. Across all devices, and that would identify it on your phone rather than it being stored on like a government database. The government turned around and said, "No, we're going to do it. We're going to have a world-beating system." They delayed it a month. They delayed it again a month. Then it was reported that they'd spent £11 million doing it, and seven private firms, I think, were involved. And they tested it and found that it didn't work on Apple phones at all. Oh, sorry, I think 1 in 32 cases was being picked up because of the Bluetooth technology.
That is so crazy, dude.
And then Matt Hancock was like, well, actually, after we've tested this world-beating service, we're not going to proceed with it. And now they've gone back to Apple and Google's system. So they've wasted 4 months.
And they wasted 11 million as well.
And 11 million quid as well.
It's not like... It's not pennies, you know what I mean? That's something that could have been well
If you're really interested and you don't want to take what I've said on face value as well, go and have a look. Honestly, Google UK government track and trace app, £11 million, and you'll get all the links. The Times have done an article, The Guardian have done an article, and it's scandalous, really.
It's nuts.
There was a lot of claims being made that one of the former MP's wife got awarded the contract for one of them as well. So I think I don't know how true that is, because it's just an allegation at the minute. But it's been an allegation, it's been lodged.
It's sketchy, though.
And to be fair, the track and trace system, the app itself, is only a small part of the track and trace program. But the other problem is a lot of the track and trace workers haven't even lodged a single phone call yet because the system's just not robust enough for them to be making calls. So overall, it's not being handled very well. You're always going to know certain software devices, etc., might have conflict stuff and built-in stop third-party stuff. Whoever the IT lead is, yeah, needs the boot. I agree. Don't worry, I agree.
Definitely.
Yeah. Sue's just asking about new phones and stuff. Sue, drop me an email and about the courses and about the phone, and I'll shoot some stuff your way. Probably tomorrow. By the time I get to it, I don't mind having a little look at phones with you. On the note of phones, I know a few people have seen or heard about we're taking donations to repurpose technology for people with learning disabilities so that they're not left isolated. I know we've had quite a bit of interest on that, so thank you for anyone who shared the post or pointed us in the right direction or having stuff donated and that. But if you guys see anyone that's giving away all that stuff, point them in our direction again, because it's an ongoing project that we're going to be part of, and we've started, like, we're pressing ahead with it now in terms of repurposing the kit. But really appreciate your help with that. The guys for anyone who shared it or put people in contact with us, much appreciated. But yeah, Daniel, sorry for boring you to death with that app thing.
It's not boring, mate. It's interesting stuff. It's just that you're a bit more informed, obviously, than I am. So it's interesting to hear what your thoughts are on it.
I can't say what it is, but it's a big mess. Let's put it down as a big oopsie on the government's behalf.
Sounds like it, dude. Yeah,
big old oopsie. But yeah, the main takeaway from that is the NHS app hasn't been downloaded on your phone automatically.
Yeah,
it's just the capability for it to be used once it's out. But I wouldn't expect it out for another few months anyway, to be honest with you.
Which is crazy because it's like when it was most needed, it just wasn't there, and it's like all this time and money's just it's such a waste.
Yeah, I mean, did you see Boris Johnson? I watched the live Prime Minister's questions the other day, and he claimed that no country in the world had a functioning system. And I was like, hang on a minute, that's just outright a lie. Like,
did Kia challenge that at all? Or?
Not really, no. Like, nobody did, and I was like, this.
Yeah.
I had to look it up because I was like, did they? And I was like, well, New Zealand,
what
Singapore,
about all of these? What about
Taiwan,
yeah. Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong even had a better system. New Zealand, it's like, come on, it's like what? And even like the most of the Scandinavian countries, like kind of Denmark, had a fairly good response. I mean, they did have some casualties, and then Finland and Norway, obviously Sweden had a higher one than everybody else, but that was because of the approach that they took. But like they all have much better systems. But if you want to talk about the effectiveness of the system, then yeah, I would say definitely Singapore, definitely Taiwan. It's like
definitely. I mean, that's what you've just named. Like at least 6 off the top of your head that had a robust app. Like even if we just look at the app. Like they had an app up and running, and it had a system that worked. For him to turn around in front of the nation and the whole House of Commons and just say there's no country that had a functioning system, I couldn't believe it.
It's mental though that like how a full they could all be so ill-informed on that. No one would say, hold on a minute, that's total nonsense.
I read yesterday, I seen the clip yesterday. Dominic Raab. He started off by saying he hadn't read the Russia report, and then about 3 minutes later said that the Russia report fully exonerates the UK. And nobody challenged him as to why. Okay, how do you know that if you haven't read it? But what someone did say to him as well, nobody's accused the government of anything anyway. All that we were seeing was whether Russia had any involvement in the Brexit referendum. The UK government hadn't been accused of anything. They've got some weird wording on the way they put things out. Like, I know Matt Hancock the other day, it said, I don't know if you saw that one, but it was to do with people being discharged into care homes, and he said, well, I didn't do anything illegal. And it's like, but nobody said you did. No one's accusing you of breaking any laws. It's just that
it's like what Tupac was saying about the politicians and the double talk. It's like the way that they talk in general is they'll, when someone asks them a question, they'll talk in a huge circle and never answer the question, and it's like it's very typical of them. But I think that definitely if you're into politics, you should have a duty to look into stuff.
If
You
you're
know
the,
what I'm saying?
especially if you're the foreign secretary, right? Or you're the
Oh my
prime
God, of
minister,
course.
you should probably
Yeah.
maybe know what other countries are up to, and in
Yeah,
response to the same problems that you've got. You would think, maybe. I
definitely.
don't know. God, I don't know. Anyway, Lynn's saying, yeah, like I said, yeah, if they've asked me to do, I would have asked the basic questions about that compatibility. Yeah, you're right, 100%. It is a basic concept. I agree. Sue's saying she's got a Kindle and a tablet to donate, plus little bits and pieces as well for the cause. That's great.
Brilliant.
So again, like I say,
Right on,
if you drop that in that email, I will pop my email. If anyone wants to get in touch with me regarding any technology and stuff, I'll drop that in there in the chat now. If you guys could please, I'm not going to play the survey along because the audio's too loud and it will blow your minds. But if I'll drop the survey link in, and if you could do that, and again, this is a space if you're interested in doing any courses, like we mentioned a little bit about like the websites, even if it's a really basic look at them. We can start pulling stuff like that together. Same with the animation. Daniel mentioned Hit Film Express as well.
VFX stuff. That
yeah, like the FX within that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drop that in there. Blogging's another one as well that we could look at.
Social media kind of stuff maybe as well, like on the same lines of blogging, you know, that might be
definitely, mate, definitely. So please fill that survey in, and just a massive thanks for coming and joining in with today's stream. And I think I'm going to pop that screen on that we always finish with, so the helpful links and the helpful information. So we've got some stuff on mental health, COVID-19, and some domestic abuse advice as well on there. If you guys could check that out, or need to check that out, it's there. You can pause the video, take a screenshot, take a picture, write it down, whatever. As always, I'm going to leave that up for 5 minutes or so. Probably drop some like weird piano music in the background or something, which isn't me playing. Maybe one day do a live performance.
keyboard.
Yeah, you know what he wants to hear that. Like 14 of the wrong notes played in a row. I'll play the keyboard if you sing, Daniel. That could be the rules.
Oh man, that would literally stink the house out. Yeah.
No, cool guys.
Yeah.
We'll not subject you to that, eh? Right, mate. Cheers. We've got some of the good news stuff that we missed, but we're going to probably cover that on Friday.
For sure.
There's one about a toad, so you can look forward to that. There you go.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Spoiler alert: it was extinct and now it's not. So there you go. It's coming back. It's making a comeback.
A little bit of nature.
So, mate, appreciate that.
Okey-dokey.
Appreciate you guys coming along. Please fill in the survey and have a wonderful rest of the day in the sun.
Yep.
Cool. Speak to you soon, guys.
Sure.
Ta-da.
Sure.